Hi guys, good morning. Welcome everyone. Today, 19th of July, Wednesday. Let's go through the pairs, see what we got. USD JPY. As you can see, I'm not in a trade since price is not making any strong moves. In terms of second strategy, we're in a sell, but price hasn't bounced yet, so we'll maintain that. On the left side, you can see the 15 minutes time frame, so I've brought up 2 now. It's easier to check for Teams method. I don't have to switch. You can see we don't really have a trend going into the zone, so there is no break of a structure for a bounce, so it doesn't apply Teams method here. All right, let's move on next. USD CAD. I was in a trade here. As you can see, I entered because of this bullish candle. On Monday, it closed against me, and yesterday I waited for price to come up to close break even. So what I did, I set my alert just around this area, so where the price drops, pulls back, and this was Monday's closed. And then on Tuesday yesterday, I waited for the price to basically come back to this zone, this area, and I closed it. So that's a break even. Now we do have a strong candle, as you can see, strong bearish candle with a strong rejection wick. So we're gonna take this on the way down, this current location, 1-to-1 ratio, and we'll see how it goes. Right, in terms of second strategy, we don't have anything yet. Our zones are kind of within this area. You could also consider this zone, so we can also have this as a zone, but we couldn't know that it was gonna bounce here. There was no indication, and it's already moved on. So nothing for second strategy. On the left, you can see 15 minutes chart. There's no proper trend into the zone and no clear structure break. So Teams method doesn't apply. USD CHF. So price kind of pulled back a little bit, paused, and now pushed down again. But I still don't consider this candle compared to the previous ones as a strong candle. So I'm not entering here with my strategy. And there's no clear support resistance zone here for a second strategy or even for Teams strategy. So stay away from this pair. USD CHF. Looks like USD CHF has broken out of this zone, and looks like second strategy is hedged. For my method, I'm simply gonna follow this momentum down to 1-to-1. Now I didn't enter here since we were into this resistance zone. It could have bounced, but now that we've broken out, there's more likelihood it has a follow through. Second strategy we maintain until it creates another zone down here. Teams strategy, also there's no clear trend here, so we leave that be. AUD New Zealand, we had a loser on Tuesday, very strong candle, and today it's already moved down this much. So usually I trade in the beginning of the day. Now the candle's already been open for about 4 hours. So there's a possibility that the price is simply pulling back to this area to test it, and consider this a strong bullish channel, still in favor of up movement. So I'm gonna enter here where the price is, and we put the stop loss near the bottom of the bullish candle, and we do a 1-to-1 for a move up. And we can also consider this as a bounce of this zone for the second strategy. So we just do a buy position here. We're also in a buy position there where we can actually close this at a profit since it's moved to a new zone. This hedging now will be applied down here. So if the price moves up to this area, I will take profit on the second strategy. Teams strategy here on the left, you can see good trend into the zone, but hasn't really reached the upper area for a bounce. And I don't really do break and retest with Teams strategy because the idea is a trend break for a reversal at a resistance zone, which hasn't happened. So nothing for team. Let's move on to a UD CAD. Alright, AUD is currently in profit and we'll just maintain this. Seems quite big for entry. Hopefully it can come back further down, but I'm not 100% sure. We'll see. And nothing here for team's strategy. We are in a buy and we can close this here for profit since it doesn't look like price is gonna make it all the way up. AUD USD currently in profit, even though the candle's green. Today is running, so we'll leave it be. This zone doesn't apply anymore. Clear zones are one down here and the one up there. So no strategy, no entry for the second strategy, the hedging one. And since it already bounced, also there is no strategy for the teams. There's no entry for teams strategy. USD JPY, there is no movement here and there's no clear trend. So teams strategy is out. Yeah, there's no entry here. So New Zealand CAD, we had a loss yesterday. So I did set alert here and price looks like just missed it, literally barely missed it. So originally I just set the alerts near my entry, but I think better method would be to try to match that with a pattern on 15. As you can see on the 15 there is a level here, and if I had set the alert just at this level, I would have get triggered and I could have closed this at a smaller loss, but I didn't. So this is a full loss and it's come back to a area of support. So you can see a clear trend down. And what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna set an alert for teams strategy up here. So this is a trend down. Once this structure, previous structure breaks, comes back up, and we can enter a buy for teams strategy. In terms of the hedging, we just enter a buy here since this is a support area and the hedge goes down there. New Zealand CHF, so that's a Monday break even, and I didn't trade this on Tuesday since we were into this zone. I'm thinking of maybe adding a rule to my current strategy that if the price bounces once and comes down to the zone again, so basically effectively this is making a lower high, right, which is a pattern of a trend beginning. So if that happens, makes a lower high, comes back to the zone, might be worth looking into likelihood of a break happening. If more of the situations when a lower high is made and break happens at the zone, then maybe it'd be worth entering on this candle. We could have made some profit, but for now that's just a theory. So we are in a hedge here. The buy we entered there, it didn't take, and now we're in a hedge. So I have to wait for the price comes back here, close the hedge at a small loss, and then continue with the sell for the second strategy. And there is nothing for teams strategies already broken out unless it creates trend back to these highs and then breaks that trend. We'll just wait and see. New Zealand USD, we have a winner on New Zealand USD. That was an easy win yesterday. Clear follow through. Today, I'm also gonna enter a second position here. Reason being that we can get 1-to-1 before price reaches this zone. So we just maintain this, and if the current rejection of this bull candle continues and pushes the price down to these lows, we'll see. Second strategy, we have to wait for the price come here to buy. Same with teams strategy, you have to see a trend going into a zone and then break off that trend for a bounce. New Zealand JPY, we are in a hedge. Price is coming back. Now it looks like it's breaking this structure. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna close this buy here, maintain the sell, and then if it doesn't go down, so this, I'm considering this a breakout, retest, and a bounce down. If that doesn't work out, I'm gonna have a hedge up here. Also, when it gets crowded like that, the best is to redraw the zones. So simply put, if you're gonna redraw the zone from the current price, the higher zone would be this area and the lower zone would be this area. So let's assess this one more time. So our current entry is like this. Okay, now you can see something different. You can see that this is a zone. It's starting to bounce. So it makes sense to close this sell instead of the buy. Maintain the buy until price comes up here and we take profit. Yeah, and my strategy, I'm not gonna sell here since we're into the zone. In terms of team's strategy on 15 minutes, push down, pull back. It's not very nice looking trend, but it did break the previous structure. So right where it is now, we can enter a buy just below this previous push started and up to say 1 to 2. Euro pound looks like it's moving up. I'm gonna get rid of this zone. So this zone up here is not very relevant. The closest one is this one here, and we're gonna enter a buy for my strategy up to this area, just following the momentum of the strong candles. We could potentially have a bounce down to this zone. There's nothing for the second strategy, requires a break and a retest for a bounce. Same with teams, there's nothing here. This one, our current buy is also in profit for now, but I intend to close this if it reaches up here. For now it hasn't. We also not hedged, so this hasn't reached this hedging, so we can close this. Euro CHF, so we are in a 2 sell position. Looks like we're going down. In my strategy, I'm also gonna sell this here, and I don't see any trend going into a zone for teams strategy unless you consider this down here a zone possible, but you have to wait and see. This is clearly a trend, so if it breaks above around this area, then we could enter a buy for teams strategy. Euro JPY, so it's just barely moving in our direction. We're still in a trend. Almost stopped out yesterday, looked like it, but not exactly. So we'll maintain this move. Euro AUD, we have a sell which hasn't really moved yet. There's nothing really to do. I'm gonna delete this alert. Right now it's just pausing at this level. Not showing a bounce, not showing a break, just complete indecision. Euro USD, I've closed this at break even. We have 1, 2, 3 days for it to make up its mind, and when this happens and it's not moving, it's not a good sign. It's a sign that this momentum we entered because of no longer exists, and there's no other entries here. Euro New Zealand, so we did a sell here. Now we're in a hedge for the second strategy. For my strategy, I'm gonna enter a buy following this strong candle up to these highs, and stop loss down below the candle, the bullish candle, and 1 to 1 take profit. So if this rejection of current bearish candle continues and it comes back to these highs, we take a profit there. Again, I don't do breakout retest for teams strategy, so no entry there. Euro CAD, we are in red. So I didn't close this yesterday because the Monday candle was just an indecision, but now we're officially in red. So what I would like to do is if we can look at a lower time frame, there's a possibility price may come up to this zone before falling. So I'm gonna set an alert in this location just below this level, as you can see, and hope to close this at a smaller loss. This would have been a good candle for a sell, but I don't do opposite trades at the same time. So right now I'm in a buy until I manage this buy closed. I want to enter a sell. If it's in the same direction, that's fine. You're just adding to the momentum, but you're basically betting against yourself if you're in a buy and then you enter a sell. Makes no sense. No other strategy here since I don't think there's a zone. Yeah, there's no clear zone. Those are dots too old. All right, pound yen, no movement here. We have a team's strategy that lost just by a few pips, unfortunately. So we had this strong trend up, break of a structure down for a bounce. It just didn't reach 1 to 2. and then it comes back up and it bounces and then it reaches 1 to 2. Go figure. Nothing for my strategy, and we maintain this sell since it's holding this level. Pound AUD. It's getting quite crowded here. So we have a team's strategy here. Should be on this one, which has lost, as you can see, higher highs, higher lows. That's uptrend, break of a structure, but didn't bounce. And my current strategy, that was Tuesday, yeah. So this is already a win. So we have a win in pound AUD. So pound AUD is a win, and just literally bounced right where I entered and hit the TP. Pound USD, I closed this one also break even yesterday. So I hit my alerts. I had an alert in this area, came up right to that before falling. Very lucky. The second strategy is closed here into a sell. If this sell, which is in profit, comes down and cancels the loss of this sell, we'll be on a break even from both or second strategy. Currently this candle is also very strong with a strong wick, so I'm gonna sell this for my own strategy. Hopefully the momentum carries it down. And yeah, there's no clear trend on 15 minutes for team's strategy. Pound CAD also closed break even, so that was a entry we had because of Friday's bullish candle. It went against us in the red, and yesterday came back up and we closed it. This is interesting. This is good for a sell. Looks very strong, but we also have a zone here. What to do. So for the second strategy, we're hedged. I'm gonna close this original sell, stay in the buy, because we suspect a breakout retest at a bounce, right? There's no trend down to this zone, so we can't do team's strategy. Second strategy says it's gonna bounce. I would be selling right now with my strategy, but I don't want to sell into a resistance or support zone, so we'll leave that be. Pound CHF looks like broke out of this zone as well. Again, what I mentioned earlier in the video, once the price bounces, comes down, creates a lower high, question is it more likely for a break to happen? It's all about probability. So this might be a good addition to one of my rules for my own strategy. If the price comes to a zone, bounces, makes a lower high, can we expect a break? Nothing for the second strategy is in a hedge, and there's nothing for teams. Pound New Zealand, so we hit the TP and way more than TP. This has gone so far up, reached these highs. Now I don't know what's it gonna be. Is it gonna try going up again? But we have a distance to the, technically this candle is still pretty strong bullish candle. Currently we're in here, so on my strategy we can enter another position. Hopefully it pushes back up, tries these highs, and just stop loss just down below this candle is fine. Yeah, I am kind of glad I started today a couple hours late. Otherwise I wouldn't have seen this red candle. I would have entered on this bullish close, and my stop loss would have been hit by this wick, giant wick. Now, unfortunately, team's method would have been good here. You can see a trend into a zone, comes down, break off a structure, could have been good for a sell. It fell really fast, and what time is that? That's 10:30 New York. Yeah, I was asleep. CAD CHF, looks like we have, that's 1 or 3, so if it's 1 to 1, this is getting tricky. Alright, I don't really know if this would be triggered or not. So I entered here following this candle. Next day it didn't really move. It came down to this area, and I said I hope, yesterday I said I hope it reaches my TP, and it kind of did, and it bounced. I'm gonna take this as a win. So we have a win on CAD CHF. Now if we zoom out on 15, you can see a downtrend to a zone. This is already closed here. So if you break above this structure, lower high, lower high, break above this structure, and we can go for a buy. We can go for a buy for Tim's method. Also for the second strategy, we can enter a buy here if it comes back. So just put a pending order. Cat JPY. So this was closed at a small loss previously, and currently we kind of in a sideways move, even though this looks like a very strong candle. I don't really trust these highs. This just looks like big resistance area. There's no trend into a zone for the Tim's method, so that's out. For the second strategy though, I'm willing to sell this here or wherever it is right now. The hedge goes above, so if it bounces down to these lows, we can take profit. CHF JPY, looks like it didn't bounce. Now we're in a hedge. This is a good entry. Kind of moved a little bit, but that's not important. We just enter where the market is, and yeah, leave it like that. Don't have to go all the way down below since the wick is already created. Maybe a little bit lower, about here. So that would be mine. We took profit on this one, yeah. Okay, and we had a team strategy here, so high, break of a structure, no follow through, unfortunately. So we lost that. Alright, Nasdaq. So Nasdaq on the 15 minutes. So I had an entry yesterday. I created this box and I pushed down strongly to it. So I sold here and it went hit my 122. So basically I bet on the breakout from this kind of consolidation. Though it came back like crazy. So I just got lucky to take 2. If it was 3, it wouldn't have reached. That's Nasdaq. Similar thing happened to US 30. So I bet on a breakout and I sold, but the price didn't really come all the way down. It broke out and it just took off from the top. So we have 1 loss on US 30 and 1 win on Nasdaq. So we are 1 R positive in profit. Alright guys, thank you for listening. This is it for today. I'll be back tomorrow. Take care.